Let's begin with a drum set. Listen for an explosive live sound. The snare should be crisp and the cymbals should ring.
I admire you when my living has a limit of desire to keep it going. I'm just knowing that my time with you makes a difference. How I'm feeling when I vibe with you. They can't divide us two. We got a bond like 007, right? Even on Devil's Night, you show me what the heavens like. Go ahead and spread your light, though I can barely see. I know you're there with me, my personal therapy. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. Yeah, I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. You inspire me. Look at you crazy when you tell me you admire me. Not an example for anybody to try to be. We'll call you bluff, but I know you wouldn't lie to me. Just a surprise to me. We got a bond tight. No one can come between. I have respect for you. You have your love for me. And that's enough for me. All I need to get by. Let me be the method to your Mary J. Blige. So many times I felt defeated. You always know the right thing to say for when I need it. I wanna do the same thing for you to keep it even. You can call me anytime. You don't ever need a reason. I'm right here with you. Never could forget you. All the things that we've been through, everything we went through. Hey, none of it was simple, but I'm right here with you. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. I'm just wishing that I had that too. Some days I wish I was more like you. Your certainty, your attitude. Keep doing what you're doing, I ain't mad at you. Just to know you, I'm glad I do. I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary. Yeah, I want you to view yourself the way you see me. When you're feeling alone, I'll be a sanctuary.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8 o'clock a.m., and you're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Friday, January 6th, 2023. Personally, I'm doing really good. I got a lot of sleep last night. I was unconscious by about 8:30. That woke me up at 3, and when I woke up, I was ready to go. I hope that now I know that just because I got enough sleep, that doesn't mean that a lot of you got a lot of sleep. I saw a lot of you on Instagram last night, real late, 11:45. Really? I looked the next morning at your stories and look at what you post. But I hope that you're all ready for this weekend. I have great guests today here on the show, and we were talking about how the year is already moving quite fast. I mean, it's Friday, the first week in, and we hope that you guys are going to go into the weekend in a healthy, positive disposition. If you need help with your resume and writing it, there's a workshop coming up that we're going to talk about today. Our guests are Terri Rhodes of Team Job Help Worldwide and Nicole Mullins of Culture Stock. How you ladies doing?
Good, thanks.
Good.
All right.
Morning.
Word up, word up. Gabriel Bradford, how you feeling? Well, you don't have a mic, so, but trust me, ladies and gentlemen, he's doing good. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. So before we get into all of the stuff, how's life?
Fine.
Okay.
Going good.
All right. Did you start did you end the year on a good note?
I think so.
Yeah. How about you?
Yep.
All right. All right. And 2023 is going good so far for you ladies?
Yeah, if it was going bad, I'd be scared.
It's going bad for some people already. I'd be looking at some people always like, oh, it's already woe is me.
Yeah.
It's like it's the first month. Like, come on, keep it together. Josue Pais is here. Good morning to you, Josue. Good to see you. Josue Pais is the proprietor of Harry Beast Dog Parlor on Galena. We got a event coming up July there, so stay tuned for another few months before it gets when it gets hot. We're gonna have a lot of good fun. But let's talk about Teen Job Help. First of all, what is Teen Job Help?
So it's an organization that I started when my son was 13. He was looking for a summer job, and it's kind of hard for 13-year-olds to find a job. So I was helping him, digging around online for information, getting a lot of information. And then I started sharing it with some of my mom friends. And then I thought, well, I'm sure other moms nationwide would be interested in this information. Like how to get work permits for teens who are under the age of 16 and things like that. So I started putting the information in a spreadsheet and sharing it with people, and then thought I'd throw it out there on a website for everyone. But then I started thinking some more and thought it would be better to give this information to the teens themselves, to empower them to go out there and search for jobs themselves. And so that's just kind of how it all started.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And what year did it start? How long has it been?
Well, I did it when my son was 13. That was about actually 6 years ago, but officially 4 years ago, this February. It'll be 4 years.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Nicole, what is Culture Stock and what's its history here in Aurora?
So Culture Stock is a nonprofit that was started in 2011, and our mission is to make the arts accessible. So we have free arts programs and events throughout the year. And then in the last few years, another thing that we've added to our mission is to make space available for other groups and organizations, because we realized once we lost our old space how much needed space is for community groups and ourselves as well. And there's resources in the community, but then there comes, some barriers with that not everybody can overcome. Like, you can only use the library so many times in a year. Some spaces require you to have a certificate of insurance or rental fees. And so we kind of eliminate some of those barriers by making it a lot easier for groups to use our space.
So no restrictions and how many times you can do something here, that kind of thing.
Yeah, our restrictions are more so based, like you can't have alcohol on our premises and, things like that, just basic rules, but not like requirements of
occupancy and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems like would seem like a natural fit for a Teen Job Help and a Culture Stock to come together kind of thing. So when is the workshop?
It is March 11th,
March 11th, okay.
10 to 11 a.m.
All right. And open to young folks of working age or going to be working age, right?
Correct. Teens 13 to 18.
Okay. Teens 13 to 18. All of you parents out there, we have a lot of parents listening to this show. Get the kids off the, what do you guys play now? What's the Minecraft? Right. Get them off the Minecraft, put that skill on your resume. And come on down. So it'll be teens 13 through 11, 10 through 11 a.m., you said?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Will there be any food or snacks there? Any kind of inducements?
Well, we always have water, hot chocolate, and coffee. Like, what are we bribing you with?
Oh, Mom, my resume. Oh, they got hot Takis. Okay, fine.
We'll have some swag too. So
Okay, very cool. Very cool. So, in you ladies' opinion, what's the state of young people and their readiness of entering the workforce? Do you feel that kids are ready nowadays? I mean, the people that you have come across who either know about writing a resume, are their skills up to par? I guess we could always be doing more. But the young people that you have come in contact with, what's their readiness? What would you say?
I say mixed, but I think that, like you said, there's always room for improvement. And like you mentioned the whole gaming thing, you know, getting them off of the gaming and getting them more into, doing things to look for a job type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Nicole? Any feedback that you've seen from youngsters?
Well, I just think in general, the job force is so different from like even when I was in my 20s that sometimes some of the skill sets that teens have now are things that we as older adults don't even think about being needed, like with a lot of things being virtual or technology based. So it's kind of hard to determine how ready they are when a lot of things in the workforce are so different.
Yeah.
A lot of entrepreneurship.
Right, that's true. I mean, it used to be once upon a time, you wanted to be a cashier at like Jewel or something. Oh, how good's your math skills? How quick is your typing? All of that's out. I got a 10-year-old. He wants to be a YouTuber, right? And it's interesting because when he's telling me that, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I'm kind of split on it because I'm thinking of like my dad, like that would have been great. No, you need to get a real job. However, that's actually a feasible opportunity and a path to success for young people nowadays, whether it's YouTuber or something technology
TikTok,
related.
Instagram,
Absolutely.
all those things are monetized nowadays. So
Exactly.
Right. That could be a bullet point on your resume.
Yep.
How many listeners you got? Okay, yeah, you're hired.
Yep.
I think that's pretty cool. Good morning to all of you great people. It's 8:09 a.m. and we're here with Nicole Mullins of Culture Stock and Terri Rhodes of Teen Job Help. So Teen Job Help worldwide. We're teaming up with Culture Stock locally on March 11th. What other organizations or groups have you worked with, liaison with in your work?
We're doing a series of workshops this whole year. So every month we're aiming to do a different workshop. So in February we're doing one with the Elburn Library, and then in March with Culture Stock. April or May we're looking with the West Chicago Library. I've also reached out to some other local libraries to get something set up. And then in the past, I've done some local things with some of the schools, some career fairs. Right before COVID, we were looking to do a really big job fair in conjunction with Caneland High School and Kane County Sheriff's Office. And of course, COVID nixed that, but we're looking to do something like that in the future. Okay, yeah, COVID threw a wrench. It sure did.
And so many plans and activities for organizations. And I think one of the worst, not to use that word in too heavy of a fashion, but I think one of the really kind of lasting things about it was that a lot of organizations didn't come back out of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. People had to shut their doors, and not everybody was able to reopen them. And that's a business or a nonprofit or kind of, any program or what have you. Nicole, on a local level, what other groups and organizations does Culture Stock work with to do what you guys do? And how long have you been in the space?
So we've been in the new space since around July of last year.
Okay.
And through the years, so we've been around for a little over, just coming over 10 years now. And we've done things with like Mutual Ground has hosted their Survivors art show a few times. We've partnered with the Human Library before. They've come out and done some things. Simply Destiny, we've collaborated. Like I taught the dance to Thriller a couple of years ago to their kids.
And for those who don't know what that is, that's a Michael Jackson song and all that. I mean, we got some young people who don't know Thriller. I never saw it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So there's been a lot of groups we've collaborated with. I'm sure a ton that I don't even think of offhand, but whether we've partnered with events or they've just used our space and we've helped promote it, it's kind of been a good mix of those things. And then we'll get people who are artists, authors who want to help promote their work, and so they'll teach a workshop or lead a story time or something,
Right.
and then in the process they get to promote themselves, and we help promote them and spread the word. So it's kind of a really nice collaborative program, just Culture Stock in itself, between the space, the programs, and all of that.
For anyone who's unfamiliar, where is Culture Stock located?
We're in the Legal Arts Building now, which is at 122 West Downer Place. It's right across Downer from the teller windows of Old Second Bank.
Right. That's right. That's right. So if you're at the and the little ATM right there,
Yep.
which is super shady when it's real late.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? It's like
Yeah, and it's
if it-
right by the corner, so you can't see if people are coming around.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, it's very shady.
And they still use, or at least they did last year, they still use the paper envelopes to do the deposits.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I accidentally licked a spider,
Oh.
a dead one. That was really nice.
Oh, nice in the opposite fashion.
Yeah.
And also, that's the same building that houses Gremlin Studios too. So
Yep.
the Legal Arts Building at the end is Aurora Tap House, and then yeah, right there.
Yeah,
because
that-
that's Old Second Bank too. Yep.
Then Gremlin Studios, then Simply Destiny, and then us.
Right. All right. Very cool. So the time is 8:13 a.m. Aisha Saxon is here. Good morning to you, Aisha Saxon. Meredith Colin Dunham is here. Good morning to you. Meredith Matt Hansen is here. Good morning, dear friend. And Jennifer Ryan Mayton. All right. Good to see you guys. So what is, when it comes to the resume writing workshop, because I have we've been fortunate to work with some youngsters, and we mentor a young man right now from Wabanzi. In your opinion, Terri, what are the key things, elements, maybe some bullet point ideas that you think should be primary on a resume?
Well, with the younger age, a lot of them don't have experience. So we tell them to look at what some of their soft skills are. What do you have experience in as far as soft skills? And once again, bringing up the gaming, that comes up, right? That they have those type of skills. YouTube, you could start looking at video editing type skills.
Right.
And just, focus on, you don't necessarily have to have a lot of experience. Just focus on what some of your soft skills are. Maybe some clubs that you've been in high school, maybe some classes that you've excelled in. If you've excelled in math and you have some really good math skills that could be applied towards some type of job, that type of thing.
Right, right. What were some of your soft skills when what were some of your skills? You come in with your resume. What were you adept at? Were you good at math?
Oh my gosh, no,
Okay.
not at all. More like
I
customer
knew we were
service.
going to get along as soon as we met.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, more like customer service, that type of thing.
Okay.
Friendly, outgoing.
Okay. Nicole, what do you think?
My soft skills when I was a teen?
Mm-hmm. And your soft skills as you were a teen?
Well, I don't know. I was like in theater. I guess that's helpful for jobs, right?
Right.
Theater, choir,
Okay.
dance team, all of that stuff. So I did have a lot of activities, but they were more arts related.
And for any young person who's filling out a resume now, what would you advise them of, or some key elements?
Well,
to
we've
include?
had resumes submitted to us when we recruit for some volunteer positions that are leadership roles, and a lot of them can be very lengthy. When you're going through a lot of them, it's kind of challenging. You want to kind of hit the high level, I think, not be so wordy with filler words, and
Right.
you're not writing an essay. You
Right.
kind of want something that somebody can just glance through and be like, okay, you get a good gist of who they are. And I think cover letters are super important.
I think the cover letter is important. I think it's less well known than people really think and realize. Like, we've had people apply, and I'm like, resume and cover letter, and they don't submit a cover letter, and it's like, it's a requirement. The cover letter is important. But I agree, the resume shouldn't be super wordy. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want a 3-page resume.
Yeah.
to, I got a secret for a lot of young people. Certain places, they're not going to read all that. You know, they're more like, you know what? Okay.
They'll put it in the circular file.
Exactly. Yeah. You put it at the bottom of the stack. I think too that grammar and punctuation, I would encourage young people to keep their eye on. There's a lot of new apps and stuff nowadays. What's the one that's always on YouTube? What's the one that Grammarly? Yeah. There's a lot of new apps that can help young people get their punctuation or grammar scared away. I think that that's key, because if you, depending on what you're going for, your boss is not going to want you representing him in a poor fashion with poor punctuation, spelling, and grammar. The time is 8:17. Tracy Duran is here. Good morning to you, Tracy Duran. Shannon Cameron is here. Good morning, Shannon Cameron. She says, so grateful the culture stock exists in our community. Thank you, Nicole. Shannon, shout out to you as well. Happy Friday to you. And Dora Sanchez Soto is here. Good morning to all of you great people. So tell me about the April event one more time. Was that the one that's going to be at the Elgin Library? Was that in Elburn, or was it Gail Borden?
February is Elburn.
Okay.
And then March is Culture Stock. And April, we're still working out the details for that. That's going to be St. Charles.
Okay. All right. St. Charles Public Library?
Correct.
Okay. Weren't they closed?
They were for some time, but they're back open now.
Okay. All right. Good. Glad to hear that. Libraries being closed is not a good thing. That makes my skin crawl. Not a fan of libraries being closed. I know they had to shut down for COVID, but still, right? I'm like, no, it's just not a good thing. Good morning to all of you people on IG too, who keep tuning in. I guess we're positive, we're popular on IG now. Bianca Camargo, good morning to you. So how do people get in contact with Teen Job Help?
We're on social media, all platforms as Teen Job Help, so very simple.
Okay, all right. And how do people get in contact with Culture Stock?
We're on Instagram and Facebook. Our handle is also Culture Stock. Well, it's Culture Stock for Facebook, Culture _ stock for Instagram. Okay. And we have a website, culturestock.org. And it's stock with a T, not culture shock, because we still randomly will get people calling us culture shock.
Really?
Yeah, I think just because they're used to that phrase.
Because it's a thing, yeah. Culture shock, right? Yeah. Right. It kind of puts you in the mind of something like, like, oh, I get it. It's like me, right? People see that I got the shirt that says Neighbor Project. They're like, tell me about the Neighborhood Project. It doesn't say hood anywhere on the shirt. Like, how are you getting that wrong? All right. As I mentioned, ladies, I have some local news to deliver to these people. I'm going to take a brief moment to deliver this, and then we will get back to our great discussion. If you just joined us, the time is 8:19 a.m. We are here with Nicole Mullins of Culture Stock and Terri Rhodes of Teen Job Help Worldwide, talking about their great resume writing workshop that they've got for youngsters aged 13 to 18. It'll be on March 11th from 10 a.m. To 11 a.m. at the Legal Arts Building, 122 West Downer Place, right here in Aurora. Okay. Are you familiar with 211? Well, if you're not, operators are standing by to answer your questions 24/7, 365. One free call to 211 connects you with all human services in Kane County. You can get help with childcare, employment, legal assistance, domestic violence, and many more things. Also, you can give help. You can volunteer locally and find where to donate food, clothes, and furniture. Now, let me just scratch that up. That is important. Now, I know what you're thinking. Curtis, you tell us all the time. Curtis, I do that. I got cans in my trunk that I take to, Marie Wilkinson's or something. That's a good thing. I'm glad that you guys are doing that because as many of us know, there's a lot of people in our community who and food insecurity is a big thing. So we need to make the impact there if we can. Save 211 in your contact list for future reference. It's your new free and confidential information and referral hotline. Shouts out to 211. Next is the Illinois Mortgage Assistance. This is very important because the deadline is the 31st of this month. ILHAF provides up to $60,000 per household. That money can be used to pay delinquent mortgage payments, property taxes, and homeowners insurance, and or flood insurance. It's a federally funded program to assist homeowners who are at risk of default, foreclosure, and displacement due to financial hardship caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. How do you apply? You can contact the Neighbor Project at 630-906-9400 on instructions on how to complete the ILHAF application. Once again, the number is 630-906-9400. The time is 8:21 a.m. All right. So what is the if we had let's think about the young people, right? If we had a magic wand, if we had a magic wand with which to tap certain areas, maybe add to this, right? Take away from that, where would we begin in the quest of helping young people and making sure they're squared away now and in the future? We'll start with you, Terri.
Well, that's a great question. Takeaway, I think, would be focusing on like the violence, the gun violence and all of that a lot of teens face, unfortunately, walking to school when they're out playing in the playground or the local neighborhoods, that type of thing. So just really working on trying to curb that. And then adding to, I think, would just be any type of education that we can provide to them. Life skills. A lot of teens go through life and don't get those basic life skills, like how to handle money, how to write a check, things of that nature. So I think those would be the two: take away and give to type things.
Yeah, what I have noticed is that schools now are doing. You look at what schools are teaching, some of the programs, and everything like that. I think it seems like it took a long time, but now they're starting to teach those skills. There's more financial literacy classes in middle schools now. We're starting to see that start to creep. Again, took a long time, but that's what young people are going to need to know as they progress. Heaven forbid you get to you start going through the college experience and don't know any of that. But I concur with you on the gun violence. That's a big issue. And we do have news on Monday about some of the recent efforts in regards to gun violence. And shout out to Moms on Demand. We're going to talk to you. I'll call you later. Nicole, with you, same question. The magic wand question.
Magic wand. What would I give and take away? I think teens and I think our world in general need more resources for people. So that's what I would like to see, more funding for programs and education for not just the youth, but also, young adults and even older adults. I work with seniors for my day job, and it's just everything is under-resourced. So I'd like to see more money put into things that are helpful to the community. Takeaways, I don't know. Maybe, I can't say less technology because technology is everywhere, and I am just as guilty of playing video games on my phone. So, not Roblox, though. I have not gotten into that one.
What do you play?
I play Clash Royale.
Oh, I see that one.
Yeah.
I downloaded it. It was difficult for a brother. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
This is hard.
Yeah, it was hard at first. I'm like, how do I know what this character does? How do I know what this character does? So, so I like it. But so technology, the one downfall I think is that when we get so used to interfacing with people digitally, when we meet them in person, we tend to be more introverted. And some people are just naturally introverted, but I feel like technology really allows people to be extroverted in the virtual world and then more introverted when we see people out in real life. So that's one thing that I don't like about technology is that, that dynamic.
It feeds that.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like enhances it and everything.
Yeah.
I do believe that when it comes to, like, in my magic wand theory, I wish there was a way, like, for example, the food situation, right? There's been so much pushback for providing kids, like, a hot meal at school. You see, like, certain people are like, we can't pay for this. These parents should be providing their own food to kids.
Yeah.
And, like, if the world was perfect, that wouldn't be an issue. But I think that it's really small potatoes and a drop in the bucket to make sure that kids can get something to eat, whether they're at school or not, you know? So that's my thing, I guess, that I would add with my magic wand. I think what I take away is a little bit of the siloing of organizations and resources. So, you know, when you guys reached out about this interview, like the thing that I like the most about it is that it's just two organizations working together, bada bing, bada boom, without having to, you know, you can only use this many square feet for your thing. Like, I like seeing organizations work together, because I think when they don't, you get people just regurgitating and doing the same thing everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Like, people keep
competing for
reinventing the
same
wheel.
Resources.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like it's one of the things that's kind of been interesting about like the networking events and all that kind of stuff, right? It's like if they're all over the place, but they're not together.
Yeah.
You know, I've always wondered that kind of thing. The time is 8:27 a.m. Now, you were born and raised in
Delaware.
What's Delaware like? What's the Delaware experience? And is there any similarity with Delaware and Illinois?
Similarity.
You're
maybe.
our first Delaware guest. That's
Am I?
Yeah,
Very
you are.
good.
That's awesome.
Growing up, it was great. It's a small state, obviously, and right on the shore, so it's nice to have the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean there. A lot of rural farmland. Similarities would probably be the farmland between Delaware and Illinois.
Ah,
Yeah.
President Biden's from Delaware, right?
He is, yes.
That's awesome. Delaware. What's the capital of Delaware?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Dover,
Is it?
I hope.
Okay. Tracy Duran. I didn't know it either. I was trying to figure it out. That was not a test. That was actually like, I need to know that. You grew up in Aurora, correct, Nicole?
Yep, born and raised.
Okay.
Grew up on the east side of Aurora. And that was really most of my motivation for starting Culture Stock, because at the time I was living in Miami. I lived in Florida for about 10 years before I moved back in 2013 to run Culture Stock. And growing up on the east side of Aurora, there was a lot of stigmatization about what it was to be living on the east side of Aurora. I remember meeting people when I was in high school. Like, I worked out at the mall, and people, you know, having conversation. Oh, where are you from? And, oh, Aurora, east side or west side? Because we didn't have all the other sides back then, or like far east side, far west side.
Yeah, the way they do it now, right?
Yeah, we didn't have all that. So anytime I would say East Aurora, and someone wasn't also from East Aurora, you'd kind of get a side eye like, really? You're from East Aurora? I don't know what they were expecting me to be like. But yeah, I guess they expected me to be like in a gang, not articulate. I don't know. There's just like a lot of misconceptions about the east side of Aurora, and it really wasn't like that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, there was most of the families in District 131 are at or below the poverty level. So obviously, there is a lack of resources. But I mean, some of my classmates are the smartest people I've met, the kindest people, the most respectful people. And so, you know, living in Florida when I was going through a program to get my degree in social work, I thought a lot about, you know, why didn't I fall into a lot of these, you know, I don't know, stereotypes of what lower income people are supposed to evolve into, and why did some of my friends not? And it really, I think, came down to having access to the arts, having access to athletics for some people, unless you are, at least this is how it was when I was in high school, and I have a feeling it's probably similar. Unless you were gifted or known to be gifted in a certain sport or art, no one was really pushing you and saying, get into this, do this, try out for this, be on this team. And so if you're, unless you excel in any of those things, you kind of are just existing and going through the motions of school, and
Right.
there's things that can take your attention elsewhere and then you end up in a path to something that maybe you wouldn't have done if you had an outlet. And so families that are lower income don't have disposable incomes for things like dance classes or theater classes or, things like that. So that's why it's really important to me and for Culture Stock to have those programs and events be free and be accessible. So
That also brings me into the mind of what Terri mentioned when we were talking about at the very beginning about the resume, right, with experience. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm thinking about like a coach, right? Yeah, there's a whole field of kids, but this one kid, he's the one who's running a little bit faster. He's the one that's hitting all the goals. So I'm going to put all my attention on him and boost him up and make him the next soccer star. And it's like, well, there's still a whole bunch of kids. They
Yeah.
could all be stars. I mean, maybe develop the kid, make him the leader, but don't sideline all the other kids. But the whole experience thing too, right? I remember when I was going out to get jobs and trying to do something other than stack pallets. And it's like, well, you have no experience. Well, it's like, I mean, you could be the dude to bring me up. Like,
I
Like-
stacked Legos,
right.
your soft skills.
Lincoln Logs, Anybody remember those?
Yeah.
Right.
You're dating yourself now.
The Lincoln Logs. Those were good American toys, though. Good American toys. But no, the experience is key because I do think, along with the sports and the activities and who you find, that's taken two things. If you can plant that seed at the right time and the right person, I mean, that could grow into a really big thing and change somebody's life.
Absolutely.
I've met, we got a mentee named Brett. He's from the Wabanzi Community College, right? All he ever wanted to be in his life was on the radio, right? It's pretty cool, But I met him there at the morning. He was running late. I was running late. I was like, we're going to get along fine, But come to find out, he wanted to be on the radio, but he had only real experience he had was just interning once upon a time at Wabanzi for something, and he met somebody from Q101. That little kernel, right? That little kernel of meeting has just sparked that flame in him. So he does a really good job for us. He's part of the show, and it's really good to see him like grow and spread his wings as he's around and doing his thing and happy about it.
That's great.
So I really want to, I really like anything that can help young people, kind of shed their skin and develop themselves. So I think what you guys are doing is great. And once again, the resume writing workshop is going to be March 11th from 10 to 11 a.m., ages 13 through 18. The time is 8:34. All right. Matt says, oh, and you're right. It is Dover.
Okay, good.
Dover, Delaware, right?
Phew.
For real. I mean, it'd be worse if somebody from Illinois, what's the capital? Joliet. Like, nah, fired. Matt Hansen says, cross-pollinate using our intellectual resources and experience. Absolutely. I like that. Cross-pollinate, just do like the bee does. Gloria Gerardo, good morning to you. Have yourself a blessed day today and weekend too. Amen. Thank you very much for that. Time's 8:34. Okay. So real quick, I'm going to go to another commercial. Got a lot of this local stuff to detail for these great people. And then we'll get back. If you are just now tuning in, we are speaking with Terri Rhodes of Teen Job Help and Nicole Mullins of Culture Stock. And once again, they have a writing workshop coming up. Resume writing workshop coming up that you should definitely take part in. Okay. There's some, here it is. I'm going to give you some health-related information. Then I'm going to tell you how you can eat and ride farm equipment. Well, you can't ride it, but you can look at it. Yeah, they didn't put that in there, so I don't want you to go there like, yeah, Curtis said I can ride it. Like, no. All right. Healthy Families Aurora. This is presented by our friends of Family Focus. They're offering virtual services. Enroll today, and the program is free. Weekly home visits by a caring family support specialist, doula support, breastfeeding support, child development screenings, infant massage lessons, childcare resources, family outings, and group activities. And the group activities that they do are great. So shouts out to Family Focus. They've been doing a lot in Aurora for a very long time. All services are free of charge, voluntary, and confidential. How can you receive services? I'm glad you asked. There's 2 numbers that you can call. The first, 630-488-6000 and 847-644-9249. Once again, 630-488-6000 or 847-644-9249. Now about the farm equipment. Our friends of the Illinois Land Improvement Contractors Association invite contractors and operators to a free dinner. Oh, goodness. I know. I heard it too. At Martin Equipment of Illinois in Peru on January 12th at 6 p.m. to learn about grade control technology. Now, contractors will learn about John Deere smart grade technology and basic grade control applications that can reduce labor costs, improve accuracy, and enable operators of varying skill levels to operate like a pro. The benefits of ILICA membership that drive company growth and profitability will also be covered. To register, you can call 309-932-1230. That number again is 309-932-1230. The time is 8:37 a.m. Sean Franklin is here. Good morning to you, Sean Franklin. Good to see you again. Sean Franklin, you tuning in more now. That's like twice I seen you popping up in the chat out of nowhere. Good to see you, Sean. Shout out to you. What does Aurora need the most? Nicole, we'll start with you.
Oh, no. What does Aurora need the most?
The most.
Well, I mean,
in the context of resources and specifically for youth.
I feel like there's so much that Aurora needs. I mean, we have with the second largest population and the amount of resources that are available are very limited. Grant funds are limited, federally, statewide, and citywide, and so I don't know how you get more money for those things. If you find the secret, I would love to know. But
that'll be a special episode of Good Morning Aurora. Like, I'm tuning in today. They found it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, really, I participate in a lot of like workshops and listening sessions and you name it. And I'm usually showing up there if I have the time. And it really boils down to a lack of resources. And then it's very frustrating. Like, I don't want to go too much into politics, but then like you look at how much money goes into politics, and when you know of groups who are unhoused or struggle to feed their families or struggle to, send their kids to opportunities that are available to them, in the community to have experiences. When you know of all of those needs in the world and in our local community, it is very hard. It's a hard pill to swallow to see how much money goes into politics. I mean, fundraising for campaigns is absurd to me, because how do we say, well, sorry, we don't have enough food. Like, I think it was the Interfaith Food Pantry that mentioned recently that their budget for food was supposed to go till the summer, and they're already almost tapped out. And so that's how many months of funding that they have to find. Right. But then you look over and see how much money is going into this campaign or that campaign, and it's like, oh my God. Or how much money we give in tax incentives or grants to businesses and businesses that don't need the money. There's a lot of small businesses in Aurora that I feel like didn't get much funding through the pandemic and in general. So it's not that I'm downing businesses, but there's some businesses that they just don't need the funding. And then we're just like very easily saying, hey, let's just give them a couple $100,000. Right. So that's what I think are not just Aurora. It's not an Aurora specific thing. Sure. It happens everywhere. But that's one thing that I would like to see is more resources for things that are helping our community and less money going into politics and helping with businesses and corporations that do not need the money.
Right. Now, Terri, you're not from Aurora, but the time that you spend here and been around here in the city, and liaison with some of the organizations like Culture Stock, what have you noticed? Or have you seen anything that you could be like, this could use a little polish on it?
Well, I'll come at it from the teen aspect.
Sure.
Any type of resources for teens would be great. Alive Center is a wonderful, wonderful organization that helps out teens.
They do. And the teens help out us.
So, any type of organizations like that. I know a few years ago, the Kane County Sheriff's Office held a teen job fair at one of the high schools. I'm not sure which one, but, different resources like that. And again, collaborating with other groups and putting your talent and your resources and your money together to try and benefit teens. I'd like to see more of that.
Right. I would like to see, because my life and everything like that is tied up in news, right? So there was two things that I saw and that I would like to answer my own question here, right? That I'd like to see. The first was the community fridge ran out of food, something like that, but they're trying to get another fridge. And I interviewed Cody Lawrence of Indiro, right? And one thing that I do like is when you have a company that's like doing very good and very well, I like when they reach out and do something that's not going to take any sweat off their brow. Mm-hmm. So they got the community fridge underneath Indiro. And if you seen Indiro, you've been there?
No.
It's a coffee shop in downtown Aurora. It's on New York Street. I like that. And I like it so much that, like, I guess a magic wand thing, right? Like, I wouldn't let that go. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I would want, like, yo, what's the levels? Get it up, put it back. So that's one thing. But also to the food pantries, which I didn't know I didn't really realize until the pandemic happened. Food pantries run out of food. Mm-hmm. They were hit so bad by the pandemic, and all of the rigmarole that's associated with trying to feed people. And again, I guess it's just the bleeding heart kind of guy in me, but it's like, if people need to be, this should be the smoothest thing in the world, So I'd like to see that. That's just me, I'd like to see, kudos to the Northern Illinois Food Bank mm-hmm. and all the other organizations who partner up and they do the drive-through thing at, what's the park?
Phillips Park?
Phillips Park, that's what it was. That's great. And to the point of, entertainment and what have you, I think that the same amount of focus should be done on that, because not everybody's able to go to or has transportation to perhaps go to the Phillips Park, but they might be local and be able to hit the community fridge. So having both of those options readily available, I think, is a really good thing. And then the other thing too, I think I'd like to see a little bit more expansion of either HESED or the food pantries, because unfortunately there's a lot of young people who are in those straits, either unhoused or improperly housed, mm-hmm. and in food insecurity. So trying to find a job is one thing. Trying to feed yourself when you're 13 or 18 is a whole nother topic, and I think that's that's sad.
Yeah,
that's sad.
HESED House mentioned, I think it was maybe a few weeks ago, that they were at capacity. Mm-hmm. And so, we definitely need more, not just more housing for people who are experiencing homelessness, but also affordable housing.
Right.
It's so important. So otherwise our unhoused population numbers are just going to keep increasing.
Right. Now, Terri, you mentioned that the Teen Job Help Worldwide, the genesis of that was your son and his experience entering the workforce.
Correct.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He just graduated from high school last year, and
all right.
He's
shouts out.
Yeah, he's in that whole Twitch streaming type thing right now.
Okay,
looking to do something with that, monetizing, right. And so doing good.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah,
congratulations
thanks.
to him. You don't have any kids?
No.
Okay, all right. That was kind of.
So they're doing great. They're doing great. My imaginary children.
You know what?
I'd be disappointed if they weren't.
Well, the the community are your children, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the community are your children. I do apologize, but when I do, and when I interview people who work with young people and everybody, like either having kids or step parents or foster parents or whatnot, or babysitters, daycare, so many things.
Yeah.
It was just a sinew. That's what it was. That's what it was. The time is 8:46 a.m. Anthony Ortiz is here. Good morning to you, dear sir. Ruth Ramos, good morning to you, my sister. Good to see all of you great people in the chat. The time is 8:46 a.m. If you have any questions for our dear friends of Teen Job Help or Culture Stock, you could put those in the chat. And Gabriel, that reminds me, would you be so kind as to put the information for both of these ladies in the chat, the website for Teen Job Help and at Culture Stock's Facebook page. You can link them in the chat for us. So the time is 8:46. How can we help you? How can we, the community, help Culture Stock, and how can we help Teen Job Help?
This has been a big help, just getting the word out. So
no
thank
doubt.
you. I appreciate this time and this opportunity. This has been great.
Absolutely.
Get the word out, in a broader basis. So
Yeah. Glad to help. I'm telling you, this is the kind of thing the world needs more of. You know,
Yes.
So to the point, I feel like you feel about financial resources going here and there. That's how I feel about like media and stuff, right? Why in the world? I mean, there's so much negative media out there. People will share the video of the guy falling down the stairs, but they won't share the legal help video. They won't share the video of the, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. They don't share that. And I
Right.
believe that like media should be as fair, as much attention as you give Selma Hayek. You should, right? That was just totally
Absolutely.
random.
Of all the actresses.
Totally random, I know, but as much attention as they give that, they should give to something else that's helping people. We hope that it does blossom for you guys. So Gabriel's going to put the chat for both the organizations or put the links for both of you guys in the chat. What's going on this weekend? What are you ladies up to?
Well, Culture Stock has an event tomorrow
Word
at
up.
10 a.m. We do our annual vision board workshop. So everybody is welcome to come out. It's all ages. All the supplies are provided.
Okay.
And it starts at 10 a.m. At 122 West Downer Place. So that's where I will be tomorrow. And then next weekend, we have our spoken word poetry, Respect the Mic spoken word poetry open mic. And that is on Saturday. It's always the second Saturday of every month at 7 p.m.
The vision board workshop. For those who are unfamiliar with a vision board, what is a vision board?
So, we do New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to do this year, and this year is going to be great, and all of that. So a vision board is just kind of a collage that you make that it embodies what you want your new year to be like. So if you want to do gardening, you put some pictures of gardening, or, you want to get healthy. That seems to be everybody's every year thing. You might cut out. We have magazines you can cut out from. We have different like craft stickers, glue, you name it. We probably have it. And then you just kind of make a collage of what you envision your 2023 to look like.
Oh, okay. All right. So, for example, using me. So if I was like gold bars, I just get a picture of gold bar, put that on the board, bam.
Yep.
And, okay.
Exactly.
And manifest that.
Yep.
Manifest the gold bars. Okay.
Yeah.
Vision board workshop. And that's going to be starting at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. tomorrow. If you're running late, it's not like super structured. Just drop in. We'll probably be there 10 to noon. So just come in and throw your board together.
Nice. You guys also have book clubs. That's
We
a new
do.
initiative that just started?
Actually, so that's one of the collaborations we've done is with Indivisible Aurora. They have chosen 2 different books they've done in the last year, and I can't think of what they are offhand. But
Blood in My Eye by George Jackson, and the other one was, it escapes me.
yeah. So that's been a really great collaboration. They've used our space for the book club, and typically they'll pick something revolving around a social justice issue or something like that, and then they'll meet, I think, every other week and have conversations about it. they will help with getting the book, whether digitally or hard copy, and so that's been a really great collaboration in the last year. I haven't heard that they're going to do a next book club, but they probably will. They're probably just taking a break with the holiday.
I can guess what the book might be because it's not on my shelf no more, too. I seen it in your office, too, Nick, but we ain't going to go there right now. We're going to scratch that up. Scratch that up. As long as he return. Since we started talking about employment, Nicole, what was your first job?
Oh, I worked at Afterthoughts. Well, would that count? My first paying job of like a legit job where I had to submit a W-9, yeah. It was Afterthoughts, which was like Claire's.
Store.
Yeah.
Retail store. Okay.
In the Fox Valley Mall. And I sold hair scrunchies and earrings and all that fun stuff. And I think I had to wait till I turned 18 to pierce ears.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
in some garage. Girl, I got your ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back, I'm like, why did somebody trust me to pierce ears at 18? But
Gabriel. Okay, thank you very much, Gabriel. Terri, what was your first job?
Babysitting.
Babysitting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of it.
Wow. All right. Any stories you can tell us? Any good moments? I mean,
No, nothing
I was
exciting.
never a babysitter.
Yeah, just always hard late at night when you're laying on the couch waiting for the parents to come home and you're trying not to fall asleep, you
Right.
know, and you're fighting that.
Because you
fighting
don't
that
want them to
sleep.
see you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because who cares? They have to know that you're going to sleep anyway. But yeah,
Right.
that was always fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first job, I worked at a grocery store. My first job. Yeah. You know, I pushed carts for like a couple weeks. I was like, yo, this is no. The snow, all this,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
This is before they started caring for you and giving you like a poncho.
Mm-hmm.
So you just had to like, yeah. And then one wheel is like stationary, the other ones move. Terrible stuff. Okay, Matt gave us a good piece of information. Now, Matt, I saw the historical moment last night in Springfield. However, I'm going to detail that on Monday. So, Matt, you need to tune in Monday because that's going to be Monday's news. That was a fantastic accomplishment. Shout out to everybody who was involved in that. Definitely our community is stronger because of it. The time is 8:53. Damn. That went quick. Yikes.
Time flies.
Time be moving. Time be moving. Is there anything that the listeners should know about Teen Job Help that we haven't covered?
Well, not
And
only
can we come back on a second episode? I would really like to check in with you guys after the March event. Definitely.
certainly
Yeah.
that would be great.
Was there anything else that we should know about you?
Yeah, not only do we focus on jobs, but we also focus on a lot of social issues that are important to teens. On the website, I have food programs on there, focusing more on summer food programs
Okay.
for teens when they're not able to get those food items that they need in school during
Right.
the summer. And then just focus on a lot of social issues, things that are important to teens. We also have a podcast, and so we talk a lot about those issues on that podcast.
Okay. Where can people listen to it?
The podcast is called Time to Spill, and you can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts, whatever platform.
Time to Spill.
Correct.
All right. Nicole, same question. Anything that we should, and anything listeners should know about
Well,
Culture Stock?
if any groups or individuals want to use our space for anything, we have a form you fill out at culturestock.org. We're all volunteer run. A lot of people don't know that, I think, because they see me everywhere for our things, and I am also a volunteer with a full-time job. So if any of you guys are interested in volunteering, you can go to volunteermatch.org, and we have a few different opportunities there. But again, remember, we're all volunteer run, so it might take me a week or two to get to responding to your message. So bear with us.
Okay. Volunteermatch.org. Gabriel, could you put that in the chat, please, young man? Thank you very much. Time is 8:55. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a good episode. So here's the thing. I want to, as we mentioned, we'll check in with you guys from the resume writing workshop. When you guys have it, if you could post some pictures that day, because whatever you guys share that day, I'd like to, or whatever you do that day, I'd like to share that, because I'm really a big proponent of young people being squared away, ready for that next level. I mean, you got to be ready. You know, you got to be prepared. It's the 5 P's, right? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Like, you got to, you know, you don't think it's a big deal. It is a big deal. Don't put LOL on your resume.
Exactly.
You know, oh, it's just a comma. It ain't going to matter. Yes,
How
it
about
will.
some emojis?
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. That might catch somebody, depending on
I heard
the
this job was lit.
Right.
True. That is true. That is true. Because if it came across my desk, I might give you a shot.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? You know, I'm feeling your work experience, but we just got to work on that. We got to work on that. Can't put emojis. Thank you very much. Jennifer Connon is here. Good morning to you, Jennifer, as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate it sitting down with our friends Nicole Mullins of Culture Stock and Terri Rhodes of Teen Job Help. Once again, the links to both organizations are in the chat. I encourage you vociferously. The word of the day is vociferously. Gabriel, if you'd be so kind to do that too. I encourage you to vociferously apply, share, and promote what these ladies are doing and these 2 organizations here in the city of Aurora. And stay tuned. Once again, March 11th, 10 a.m., ages 13 through 18. And it's going to be at 122 West Downer Place. That's the Legal Arts Building and Culture Stack. And shouts out to Teen Job Help Worldwide for the amazing stuff that they're doing. And then stay tuned for the monthly events that are coming up. The last thing I'm going to tell you guys is that you need to be prepared for all the great things that we've got coming up. We've got a heck of a year. Our anniversary party is going to be in May. 3 years. 3 years down, 97 more to go.
Nice.
100 years of news. So we're committed to that. And just stay tuned, because we've got some great events happening as well. Shout out to Tavern on Broadway, which we will be at again very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great weekend and take care of yourself and each other.